There we go. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Great. So if you're not muted, would you mind muting? That would be amazing. And we'll get started. I'm just going to change my name so people know it's me. Me and my husband's still sharing the Zoom since circa 2020. So today I'm super excited to tell you about headers and footers. I was just saying to Eve that even though it's just something small to tick off, it can really help with growth and just really aligning with what you want to explain about your publication. So it does give us that opportunity. It is slightly quirky in that the only way that people would see a header and a footer is if they receive your email within their email inbox. So if they're opening on their phone in the app, they won't see it. If they're on the Substack website, they're not going to see it. If someone sends them a post, and says, read this, and it's via the app or a website, they're not going to see it. They have to be signed up to you as a subscriber and it'll land in their inbox, and then they'll see a header and a footer. So just as a show of hands, how many of you have headers and footers already kind of typed in and ready to go and use the same ones? Some of this I know, because I used to, honestly, when I started, I used to go into them every time and obsess about how they connected with what I was saying in my piece. So it is quite a lot to get our heads around. I know somebody I was chatting to recently said that they edit them every time. I would encourage you to move away from that because that's very, very time intensive for you. So I would encourage you to set up headers and footers that you can just run with, or not have them at all. And I'm going to be really honest, for Creatively Conscious, I have them, I've set them up, I'm happy with them. For Sparkle, I do not have them. I don't have them. They're not there. They don't exist. There's nothing there. So I wanted to be really, really open and honest with you about what I do, because there are really good reasons for both. So we'll come on to that now. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you how my headers appear as an email. Let me just find that one. On cue, the dog started barking outside, which is just like a new thing. Okay. Right. Can you guys see that okay? Everyone see it okay? I'm just double checking because I've opened it in an email, so just making sure it's really clear. So I said this before, but if you haven't heard me say that, please sign up for your own Substack through a different email address, because receiving the energy of your own email feels really good. It feels really different. So you're in there, you're editing it, it feels ready to go, you've previewed it, you might have even sent yourself a test email. If you don't know what I'm talking about with all this stuff, we're going to come on to it in the workshop, so don't worry. But this is me from a different email address receiving my own Substack. So this here is the header. So I've got, you are reading Creatively Conscious by Claire Venus on Substack. So I'm just pointing people to who I am, what I write, and what it's about. Now, lots of people still don't know what Substack is. So for me, that still feels really important, not only because I teach about Substack, but because I love the platform and I want people to really be really clear about what platform I'm using to send them an email. Lots of people will only just read an email and that's all they'll get, and they'll know that it's powered by Substack and that's enough. But I choose to do that. And then I choose to invite them into the app. I've got mixed feelings about the new rollout of the app, but we'll go with it for now. So I've kept that in there. And then I've said, please feel free to share or subscribe as a free or paid subscriber to join a beautiful community of like-minded souls. So I'm just flagging up that there is a paid for offer. There's a paid for tier if people want to join it. And then I have a very small photograph of myself, which is the same as my profile photo on Substack, just to get that continuity of branding. And the reason that I do that is so that I don't have to put that in every time I do a post. So I already know the people who are just getting to know me and are subscribed to email and don't really know about Substack. It's like a branded up version of an email that could exist in any other platform.
Sorry,
so that's
Claire. I don't think we can see the actual email that's come up.
Oh, you can't. Oh, that's
annoying. Sorry. I think we can see your Substack. We can see your Substack.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah. I didn't know whether that would work. Let me just try.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, thank you for telling me. Because I did open up mail there, so I don't know why it hasn't. Oh no. No. Okay, let me just do it a different way. Sorry.
Maybe you're sharing just like one tab or something, because that's sometimes what
Yeah,
happens to me.
I think so. Thank you. Let me just
Because we can see like the tabs you have right now.
yeah,
There's
great.
like
So
6 of them.
we'll do it this way instead. So just to take a step back, so this is obviously the Substack website that people would see if they go onto the Substack website and have a little look at that. And this is my Creatively Conscious publication. You might not know about that one because you might just be here for Sparkle. But if we go into the back office there, we can have a look at editing a post so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. There we go. So here, if we go into preview and then go into email, there we go. So now you can see what I was talking through. So this is what I had open, but I'd received it as an email just because I thought that was an easier way to explain it, but it didn't work. So we're back here. So starting again, the text that I was reading out is this text here. And then the photograph is this one here. And then the email starts or the Substack starts. So this line cuts us off in terms of if we're reading in the app, we just see from here on in. So I was explaining to you that I had reminded people about what Creatively Conscious is and that I write it on a platform called Substack. For some people that might be interesting, for other people, you know, they'll just gloss over that. But it also gives me an opportunity to talk about my paid subscriber tier as well. I'm inviting people into the app in that header as well, because that felt really important to me to try and build community. Substack is a complicated platform. For some people, they'll be really happy receiving an email, and other people, they might want to come onto the app and join the community and use it in those community-focused ways. So if we scroll all the way down to the footer, this is the email that's just gone out today, which I put a video transcript in, which I don't normally do. So this is the footer. And again, if they're receiving an email, this is where they're going to see this bit of information that we wouldn't see in the app. So it says, you're currently a free subscriber to Creatively Conscious. Come and introduce yourself around the fire. So I set up a post that invited people to introduce themselves. I've hyperlinked to that post there, and then I've hyperlinked to my contents page. So it's inviting people into that website and app experience in both of the header and the footer. The reason that I want to do that is because I love Substack community. I think it's a great place to hang out. I think it's a great substitute for social media if you want to kind of tune out of social media for a little while. And I think it's really nice to invite people in that way. It also serves a purpose in terms of if you're a client-based business, people can get to know you better. They can have more chats with you. They can use the comment function. They can't comment if they're reading an email, but they can reply to your email. And I'm sure you've fathomed that out, but it is a different invitation. So that's why I remind them of those invitations. Obviously, engagement is my thing. This is why I've set it up like that. You might set yours up slightly differently. Are there any questions so far on those two setups? Okay.
Did you just say that people can't respond to our email?
They can respond in email, but it would appear in your email. So my focus is to try and bring them into the app so I can have more conversation with them, because people don't tend to respond to emails. The whole time I had MailChimp, I think Amber was the only one that replied, and maybe my friend Laura. I think Amber and Laura replied, and like the 300 other people just sort of thought, that's great, an email from Claire or not, you know. So when we bring them over to Substack, we're building community, and Substack is about that. They started off as a platform for writers, but now they're all about building community. Hi, Adam. So that's why I do these two things. Depending on how you are using your Substack and how you want to grow your Substack, if you want to grow, you need to think about community. Even in a light touch way, you need to be thinking about community. And we will come on to further deeper workshops about community building and community engagement. But I just wanted to explain what those things were in case you've never received one of my emails and you read in the app or you read on desktop. Then over on Sparkle, I don't have any of that because I'm very focused on just, this is the message. Everybody's on Sparkle, be on Sparkle, read it however you want, but come to the workshop. So I don't feel it's needed, but I am going to think about it today when you guys are all doing your bit of work on headers and footers. So in the email that I sent earlier in the week, I was just asking you about your sources of information. if you'd had a chance to have a look at that. So if you've got your Substack open, could you have a little look in stats and just try and find this page? So it's total traffic and top scores. It's the first tab in stats. If you're having problems, let me know, but I'll just give you a couple of minutes to try and find that. Okay, so if you scroll down there, then it's going to give you a little bit of an indication here in terms of how many views are building up in the Substack app and on the Substack website. So the website is substack.com and the app is Substack app. So pretty self-explanatory. But what you'll find is when you look in there, you'll be quite shocked at how much your posts are being pushed out. Obviously, this is cumulative for Sparkle. And then the other place that is really good to look, if this wasn't clear on the email, is in posts. So if you go into the posts tab and find, you know, whichever post you want to click into, I've clicked into the last one that I sent that was to everybody on Sparkle. And then you scroll down to traffic sources and you see here how many people are reading in email and how many people are reading in the Substack app. So for me, when I looked at that, I thought to myself, that is probably a missed opportunity. I haven't yet set up the headers and footers for Sparkle. I've been very focused at just speaking to people through the body of the copy, through the posts, talking about video, talking about audio, getting people into the calls. But actually, there's probably something that I can do there because that's quite a high percentage still reading in the email. This changes all the time because sometimes people opt back into email and out of the app. And especially with the app changes, this went up because there was actually at the start, there was nearly 70% of my people were reading in the app, which is why I didn't set up headers and footers in the first month or so. I looked at that and thought, oh, great, well, we'll just keep running with that. That's fine. So if anyone wants to share their percentages in the chat, who's reading on email, what the percentage is, who's reading in the app, just so people can get a sense of each other's publication, because we will all be really different depending on where your people are finding you and how that's all working. So feel free to share that in the chat.
Can I ask a question about stats?
Yes, so please do.
It's a slight digress, I suppose. Do you know if that's like individual unique users per stats, or like could someone be opening an email and then also reading on the app? Because I know I tend to like sort of do both.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so for me, obviously, the Substack have got your email attached to your Substack profile. So, I mean, I don't know is the honest answer, but it would be interesting, wouldn't it, if they had the sophistication to understand if that email is then attached to the Substack profile. We could ask them. We could say, we're geeking out slightly about this Substack. Can you help? Like, because I used to do that before I had to turn on smart notifications. So now I only read in the app, and I do miss receiving emails, but I just couldn't cope with the weight of them. And I just moved away from social media into reading Substack long form in the app. So it was like a replacement thing for me. But yeah, I do think we should ask. Thank you very much, Charlie, for asking that question. I do think it's interesting.
And when it says email, is that like someone's opened it? It's like the traffic from, or yeah.
Yeah, so you can see open rate here, but yes, I mean, it might be that they've received it, which then would indicate that they have opened it, but the open rate is 44%. So I guess, you know, you could work out the number between those two there, but again, we could ask them. I mean, this is just really top level to give us a flavor of where are people reading? Like, that's what it's really about. Where are people reading? And what do I, as a writer and a creative, want to gift them? So if you think about your email people separately to your app people, the app people are using Substack in a specific way. The email people who are solely email are using it in a different way. But then there's people like Charlie who are like, oh, I've seen an email pop in. I might go into the app, which I was one of those people as well. So we're almost trying to kind of work out, okay, what's everybody doing with our posts? Like, what does that mean? And then you can see here the total views for this post, even though there was only 419 opens, that it got over 1,000 shares. So again, thinking about how the app pushes out what you've got there, and what you want people to do with that. So if there are new people finding your work, 12 new subscriptions on this post and 2 paid. So there are new people finding my work, but all the new people that found my work didn't subscribe. So why is that? You know, do I need to put more subscribe buttons in? Do I need to offer more? Do I need to be clearer? So we won't go into this loads today, but I just wanted to give you that overview of where you try to start to fathom out. Are you being clear enough? Is there more that you can offer within someone's email inbox in those header and footer spaces? Remember, they're set up in a permanent way. And we haven't just got headers and footers for free subscribers. We've got bespoke headers and footers for paid subscribers as well. So mine for paid subscribers are different. So we'll go into the back office and do a little bit of work around that as well. So, okay, let me move on. And I'm just going to have a little look in your chat and see everybody's stats, just because I find it really interesting. Oh, okay. Jennifer, like the non-deliveries, is it bounces? Is it emails that are bouncing? Not sure.
You know what? I'm actually not sure. I'll have to check into that.
Yeah. If
I'm
you
still
go,
learning the stats.
do you know if you go into a subscriber profile, you can see everything that they've read? Have a look there, because if they've read something, then it might be that their mailbox is full. It might be something else. There might be something quirky going on where it's moving to junk by accident. So have a look if they've read anything, if you can work out, you know, where it is, like where it's falling down. See if you can see that there.
A couple of my readers said they didn't read my emails last week. So I don't know if there was like a glitch in the system or there was an update or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple of my readers who didn't receive anything that I sent, and I sent 3 things last
And
week.
do you know how to look at their profile, Amber, their subscriber profile, to see what the last one that they received was or not?
Oh, no.
Okay, I can't do it because of data protection, but let me, in the next Stay Creative email, I'll screenshot how to do it. But basically it's this tab here, subscribers. And when you go in there, you click on the email address. And then when you unpack that, you can see everything that anyone's ever read. So you just go in by the person that you're looking for. You can type their name in and find them that way. So, but yeah, I don't want to do it because I'm recording the call and it's got people's email addresses in. So I'll not do that. Okay, Claire's saying 99% in email. That's really high. Amazing. 69% in email, 77, 98 in email from Marina. Amazing. Okay, this is super, super interesting. So yeah, it's interesting in that if you do what I do and try and invite people in, I'm giving away all my secrets, and try and invite people over to build community, that's part of my strategy. You've got that opportunity, but you've also got this beautiful place to take up space and have some of the things done for you in your Substack header and footer, so you don't have to put it in your post every time. There's a real opportunity there for some of you, especially with all those big high percentage rates. Great. Okay, let me just stop.
I'm wondering, quick question. I'm wondering if like the numbers also depend on the kind of thing you're writing. Because I find that, like, you know, a lot of us are writing about our writing kind of thing. And I feel like those are like those of us who are on Substack reading other writers specifically tend to do it in the app versus like my newsletter, which is like a parenting one. So I feel like the stuff I read on Substack versus the stuff I write is kind of like a different audience. And so, you know, if it's like parents reading my newsletter, they don't tend to know about Substack and are already reading others. So I wonder if that like changes the email versus app.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. It's so bespoke, isn't it, to who we are as people. So I've got some paid subscribers that have never ever been on the Substack platform. They don't go on. You know, they pay to receive my emails. They get the link to the Zoom call. They show up from Creatively Conscious, obviously not Sparkle, because you guys are like using Substack kind of more in its entirety. But I think it's really worth thinking about, and you almost have to kind of, just kind of work it all through in some big bubbles of, okay, this is a free person on email. This is a free person who likes to use the app. This is a paid for member, and work out how you want to kind of communicate with them all. That's what we're going to do next. So, you know, I'm a huge fan of creative journaling and getting into our space on this. So blank piece of paper, we're going to just divide it into 4. And do a little bit of sketching. You can do this on your laptop if you want to, but I always just like to just get a bit free with it, you know, get the laptop boxes me in a bit. So we're going to divide it into 4. and we're going to do free, paid, and then invite to paid. And then this bottom box. Okay, so for some of you, if you haven't turned on paid and you don't intend to, you don't have to fill those boxes in. There's a separate setting where we can change the header for paid subscribers, and we can change the header to invite people in the previews. I know this is a lot of information, to become paid subscribers. So we are going to do that little bit of work. But if you're not planning on turning on paid, you're just going to have free in the top. And then you're going to have my Substack in the bottom. And then for the people that do have paid or do want paid, we're going to have paid and then the invite to paid. Now, please know this work might take a while for you to feel okay with. This workshop is just the catalyst. So we are literally just catalyzing our creativity, having to think about it, trying to work it out, trying to work out what we're going to do. And some of the complexity and the nuance of what we're going to say, both in a header and a footer, will come later. So in the free, let's start there, and we're not going to have loads of time, but we will try and get round to the other sections. What would be the difference for you in the invite in the header and then the invite in the footer? Bearing in mind, we can add images, hyperlinks, buttons. What do you think the invite would be? Like, would you prefer to get everything in that header? Do you feel people skim that and they want to be down reading your post, and then it might be better doing it in the footer? What do you feel? What's going to feel good? Anyone's welcome to talk if you want to chip in, or I'll just keep talking. It's no problem. So on mine, I'm giving them that invitation. That first invitation is that this is who I am. This is what I write. And I also have a paid tier. It's like 2 messages. That's it. So again, depending on how you write your posts, you might have seen people have started adding a bit of a bio at the top of their posts. If you do that in your header, the people in the app aren't going to see it. But if you've got like a 99% email open rather than an app, you could put your bio up there. You could put a link to your website to remind people about how else you exist in the world. You could link anything. So if we just go with 2, what do we want, if anything, to get across? What 2 things do we want in that free header and footer? Try and hold the 2 things. What are we asking people to do? Subscribe, come to the app, go to our website. Are we inviting them into a space? Are we just reminding them who we are? What are we doing? Have a think.
For the free, they're already subscribing, aren't they? They're already,
So the subscribe would be to paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to clarify
or to share.
Yeah, to share. Anytime you use a subscribe button and the person's already subscribed, it will say upgrade to paid. If you use a Substack button, subscribe, it will say upgrade to paid or upgrade your subscription. So that's the opportunity you've got. If you've got it turned on, or you might have pledges turned on, so it could say pledge.
Claire, can I just ask something?
Of course, Emma, hi.
Hello. Is there like a recommended amount? Obviously, what you wouldn't want to do is have loads and loads of text before your emails start. So is there like kind of would you say, okay, try and keep it to like maybe a paragraph and a small image, or is it just kind of anything goes? Yeah,
so it's anything goes. I think you will run out of characters. I think Substack will probably have a cap on it. But what are your emails about, Emma? What do you write about? What are your posts about?
Well, I have a creative membership and I have themes every month. So at the moment it's on witchcraft and magic. So they're kind of that themed. So I would like to have something at the top that would say about becoming a paid member and directing them to different parts, like maybe my about section, something like that. But I didn't want to have reams of text before my emails start, because sometimes they can be quite long posts.
Yeah. So you could be, if you can do this, if you could set this up, it could be a space to remind them of this month's theme. You know, if they've missed an email, or if you want to remind them of past month's themes, if you've got that set up on Substack in a clever way with a tag, we will go into tags in a further workshop, you could do that. So that might be a way to do it. In terms of the upgrade to paid, I'm pretty sure that mine links to the page on my website that I built to try and hold more space for what the paid membership is on Creatively Conscious. I can double check that, but I felt like it was those 2 invites. And remember, people are going to see these multiple times. So we're not creating an email header and then changing it each time. That's just a lot of work for us. And also it baffles your brain because you're every time looking at what you've written and how the email header fits. So we need to make evergreen headers and footers. Ideally, that's the aim of the workshop today. But yeah, thematically, it might be quite nice to remind them, mightn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so we'll just do a tiny bit of journaling on those 2 things that could exist in a free subscriber header and footer.
What was the last one? There was the paid, the invite to paid, and what was the 4th one?
My Substack. So you're just reminding yourself about what you write about. So, I reflected back to Emma, what you're writing about, what's in there, because that is then, it's going to really, really help you to hone, okay, like what do I need to have there every time? So without fail, do I want to have it there every time? And that'll help you decide, do you want it in the body of the post every time and you duplicate a post to get that, or do you have it in your header every time? We'll come on to that. It's a complicated thing, honestly. I do think Substack they've made it incredible for us as creators, but they've made it baffling for our brains as well. Okay, I'll move us on because I want to make sure we've got some time for questions. What I wrote down for Sparkle was, in the header, I feel like I want to invite them to join the community. Like I want people to be here, to be learning, to get what they want to get and then move on to other things. I really want to hold space for what this community has become since I started it back in July. And then in the footer, I just want to say thank you. And I felt like I wanted to put something inspiring there. So some sort of beautiful quote from like a Brené Brown book that just inspired them to keep going. I keep seeing now and again people just burn out with Substack or get overwhelmed with the platform or leave or pull down paid. And I really just want to hold people that it's a long game and that we can commit to the platform and can grow here and can do really beautiful work and build really beautiful communities. So something around that is what I got to. Does anybody else want to share or have questions? Did anyone get stuck? I'm going to share my screen again while you're having a think. Okay, so this again is last Friday's post. I'm going to go in to edit it. And then it's going to give me the opportunity here, without having to go into that big long list of settings that we love, to just go in and edit the email headers and footers here. So this is, I honestly find it hilarious. This is the long list of edits that we could do. Okay. And I'm saying we could because we absolutely don't have to. So I am not using banner images. Now, I might do in time, but it isn't my skill set to make them. I often feel confused about what I would want to put there visually. I feel like my creative power is in like the journaling, like the writing things out, not in design. So I don't do that. I don't feel compelled to do it, because if I did, it would be messy and scrappy and I probably wouldn't like it and I'll have spent loads of time on it. So I don't do it. You can do it. You could do it. You could do that. You could make yourself a banner image. It could have your name in it. It could have your photo in it. It could have, you know, your website URL in it. However you want to use it, you could use it, but I don't use them.
Sorry, Claire.
That's okay. Carry on.
I've filled all this out. It's all there, but I'm trying now to get into it on mine and I can't find it. So I'd gone into settings, but I'm not getting what you're getting.
So why don't you just do it the way that I did it and go into a post and do it that way? So I'll go back a step. See here, I just went into it there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You know, you're so welcome. So yeah, there we go. Right. So when we go into this header for free subscribers on posts sent to everyone, so we know that is going to go into their email inbox. It is not going to appear on the app. It's not going to appear on the website. Header for paid subscribers on posts sent to everyone. Oh, what do they mean by that? So it's the header that if the person is paying for your Substack, that they see, but everybody will see the other one if they're free subscribers. So it's only the paid subscribers that will see this header. Does that make sense? I know it's wordy and difficult. Paid subscribers on paywalled posts. So this is where in the header, you could speak directly to your paid for community. You could say, just a reminder of this month's call dates, just a reminder of your membership back catalogue, just a reminder of the library. That's not going to make sense to a free subscriber. That's why they have these specifics around. You can have that within a paid subscriber header. And then you've got this other one that I put on our journaling prompt, header for free subscribers on free preview posts. Now, as a writer, people use these preview posts to entice people behind the paywall. I run my Substack slightly differently because I run communities on both Substacks. But if you were a writer and are a writer and you have loads of incredible writing behind the paywall on Substack, you would be then looking at how you could convert your free subscribers over behind that paywall. So that language that you use, that invite that you use, that's what that is. If you use preview. So if you've written a post and it's for paid people, but you want free people to preview it, those free people see a specific type of header. Does this make sense? There's so many frowning faces. I know it's complicated, but you don't have to do it. You do not have to do it. So, and you can send test emails. If you feel like you're in a knot and you can't quite work it out, you can send test emails. So do not worry. They'll send you them all. Down into footers, we're in exactly the same position, except it's slightly simpler. So we've just got the 3 boxes there, and we're only going to fill in the free one today. We're just going to have a little edit about in a minute. And then you've got this send test email. So it's going to send 4 test emails. And when it does that, they'll arrive in your inbox and you'll be like, wait, what? And you literally have to sit with them and be like, okay, this is a free subscriber who is getting a preview to a paywall post. And you've literally got to work it through like that and be like, is this right, what I've said to them? You don't want to confuse anybody. You don't want to send anybody the wrong thing. I'm just checking in on the chat, make sure everyone's okay. Okay. Claire, did you get sorted? Claire Brown, I think there might be a couple of Claires in. Hopefully she did. Okay. So ignoring the banner image, that is an image. I'm not doing it. Going down to the next one. This is easy, honestly. It'll be easy. Watch. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I just noticed she didn't get it sorted.
She didn't. Okay. Sorry. No. Okay. So let's just go back a step.
Not working.
It is no problem to go back a step, right? So we're in a post. We're in a post that we've already sent. Say, for example, I don't know why that's doing that. Normally it would just, yeah. And then you could just click this button, Claire. So this is a post that I've edited, or you could go to new post and it would be the same. It would be in there if it was a new post. So I'll show you on here. It's just here. You just press that button and you're in.
Can you hear me on the microphone?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So no, I'm sorry, I just can't find that.
Okay.
I'm in a post.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a post now.
I'll do it from the beginning. Are you in a post like so? Okay, so let me go into this post here. So you're in a post like this, yeah?
I'm not very techy, I'm
No,
afraid.
don't worry, we've got time. We'll get you there, don't worry.
Yeah.
So you've got a post like this that's already gone out in the world, or it's a draft post. It could be a draft post. It'll work the same either way.
It's already gone out.
It's already gone out. So you're going to go to your 3 buttons here.
Right. I just keep having to swap from one to the other. Which 3 buttons? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you're going to go edit post.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then you got edit email header and footer.
Oh, okay.
Yay,
yes.
good. It's honestly never a problem to backtrack because, you know, I'm fast. I've been using it for ages. So I really want to make sure that you guys are all caught up. Right. Am I definitely in the header and footer now? Come back through. Yeah, here we go. So it tells us at the top, it's just like editing a post, header for free subscribers on post sent to everyone. So when you come to decide who your post is for, you have the option, don't you, of sending to your free subscribers or sending to your paid subscribers or sending to everyone. I think I might have frozen a bit. I'll come back there now. There's a storm. It's Storm Billy or something. I don't know. It's raging outside in Northumberland today. So we're in the header. I'm just going to revisit my notes. So join the community over on Sparkle on Substack. So say I wanted to write that. Now, I know that there's nothing hyperlinked there, but what I could do is I could at my own publication and I could hyperlink it there. So that would then hyperlink in email and people would be able to click on it. Or I might want to hyperlink this text and send it to the members area. So you guys know that I have a members area set up and that is all the locked posts. So the posts sent to paid subscribers, but sometimes free people get sent it as well. And then they might kind of decide to join us. So I could do either of those 2 things. That would be no problem. It's just the same as editing a post. I could put
how do you change the colors of all them? Because people do them in different colors, don't they? But
mine so that's in your website setup, Amber. So when you go into your website design, you can change the format of how your Substack looks, and you can also change the colorway. So for Sparkle, I'm green, and for Creatively Conscious, I'm pink. And then obviously the background that you guys see is like this kind of oatmeal color on both. So that's like my brand tied together, that people know that both of those are me eventually. Eventually, that's the grand plan. So yes, you can put a photo in, that's no problem. We'll just do a little stock photo. Let's pick the word light because we need more of that today. Insert that. Okay, that's quite nice actually. I try to use all my own photos when I can, but sometimes there are some really amazing ones, aren't there, on Unsplash. So there we go. So I could take that out if I wanted to and just have that as a little graphic. I could have my buttons, so I might be inviting people to share, which is a really good point, that we might want to sort of have it land in someone's email, but be asking them, our loyal subscribers, to share. And then any of the other buttons would work the same way. We can even do get the app. Look at that. So maybe I might do that for Sparkle. I don't know. I'll have to play around with this, but we'll see. You can, if you want to, and Substack do put a line in for us on email, which I can't show you. I was hoping to sort of just talk you through all that, but you could put a little divider in if you wanted to be like, okay, that's my header. That's about how long it is. Is that right? I have done a little hack where I've centralized text before, just because I like centralized text. And I've done it like that by just putting it as a quote. So everything's central, because the images are central in Substack. Sometimes in a header, it's a bit awkward that everything's like off to the left, in my opinion. So I've just done it that way around. Yeah, so I've got that there now.
Can you just backtrack on that? How did you get the centered text?
So I'm laughed because honestly I find all of these quirky ways to do things, so I just did it as a quote. So I would take that off. So yeah,
fantastic.
You could do that. It's just a design aesthetic thing, however you want it to be. You can also put your bold on, your italics, you can cross things out, you can do all the things you would normally do. You can have that one. I never really bother with these, but you could have that that kind of typewriter font. You could even have a video. Now, you know, video is open to us in Substack. If you put a YouTube URL in a post, it will pull through the whole YouTube. It'll embed it. I don't know what it does in headers. I've not tried it, but obviously it's inviting you to have a video in there. So the sky's the limit, really. You can literally put as much as you want. But remember, for the people that receive this more than once, they're going to be scrolling down. So they know what your header is, they recognize it, they don't need to do anything you're asking them to do, they just want to read the post. So this is more for the people that you're trying to invite to do a thing, or you're reminding them who you are, or you're telling them who you are for the first time. Maybe this is the first email they're receiving from you after the welcome email. So have a little think about that. So I'm just thinking, can I say, yeah, I've not got anything. I was thinking, have I got anything scheduled to go out and people are going to get a bonkers header, but no. So if we go down to footers, now I would not then go in and do all of these other headers because it's such a lot to think about. So I would just go, okay, let's just go into the email footer. So far, I've just got this lovely little bit of italic text to say about upgrading their subscription. Now, I haven't really given them much information about what they get as if they do that. So I might change that to try and point them towards what they get. And that all exists on my about page. So that would be quite easy to do. So I would probably put it like this, or I would do a custom button. I'll do that so you guys could see what I would do. So I would just put the text, this is probably upgrade to join the, I don't know if I'll run out of characters. Oh no, upgrade to join the community. And then I would put in my about page so that it reminded people what the benefits were of joining the community there, and that would work fine. But obviously I'm not going to go and do that and faff on while I'm on the call with you. So that's that there. So shall we just have a little go, if we're not already, at what we might want to do there? Are you all up for it? And then I'm here if you get stuck. Just that free one and just the footer. We'll just have a little go and see how much we can get done. We'll just do 10 minutes. Just see what you can play around with, see what you wrote down, see if there's anything that can flow out, and then we'll come back together in 10 minutes, okay? Okay, feel free to carry on working. I'm just going to talk you through what I've done because I wanted to just leave. I've probably got time for like one question today. So what I've done on this header is that I've hyperlinked Sparkle on Substack at the top, thinking about people that are reading in email and bringing them over to either the website to read more or the app. And then I've said, join the community of creatives who also like to write over on Sparkle on Substack. And I've put one of my sparkles. These are like my trademark sparkles now. Just leave them everywhere, all over Substack. So that's there. And then I've put monthly workshops and co-working and all the goodies to help you grow your Substack in a joyful and sustainable way. And then I've left this app button in. I'm less sure about the share. I might have a think about that and just make sure that I put more shares in the post body itself. We'll see. So I'm going to save that. And then down on the footer, I did a tiny bit of work as well. I can faff on a bit. Reminding them they're a free subscriber to Sparkle on Substack with Claire Venus, because remember, they might be getting this for free. They're like, who's Claire Venus? I don't even know who she is. Why did I sign up for this? And I have had that before. People have emailed me and said, I've never signed up for this. Why am I here? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't put you here. You've obviously found your way somehow. Anyway, reminding people, I've said for the full experience, you can upgrade your subscription and join the paid membership tier. Here's a list of benefits you unlock as a paid subscriber. Now, as I get used to these headers and footers for the free folks, I will be looking at what's in the body of a post, because if the post is not really offering much value, if it's just more information, then I don't know, I might take these off. You know, I don't want to be constantly like doing the hard sell. People are really more than welcome to be in my community for free. That's all good. Like, they'll get some value from that, and that's great. They can listen to the podcast and stuff. So I will sit with this, and I'll sit with this language and make sure that I feel aligned and embodied about it, because that's just like me feeling, you know, calm about things. But you know, I'm pretty happy. I think it flowed through quite quickly in terms of what I wanted to say. I now just need to test it with a post. So again, the button at the bottom, you can send your 4 test emails. Don't worry that you haven't filled anything in. It'll be obvious how you receive them in your email inbox. So I'll send those off to myself. Off they go. I'm sure that worked. I'll not press it again because I might end up with 8. Or if we go back to the post, oh, sent, it's saying there. Look, it's all fine. It's done. If we go back to the post here, then we can use the preview button. Remember, we can look at it on the website, we can look at it in email, we can look at it on mobile, we can look at it on desktop, we can look at it for free subscribers. So it'll load in a minute, yeah. So you then get a sense of, okay, like this is how they're going to be receiving it. Now, for me, this is quite large, isn't it? Get the app, come on into the app. I'm not sure how I feel about the app, so I probably will take that out. I could put a more subtle invitation to the app and just hyperlink some text. And then there's my email that already went out. I can check how many times I've sort of got upgrade to paid and shares and things like that. The buttons all the way at the bottom will now be my first ever edited footer. So there it is, the footer. And then I've put this button in to join the Sparkle membership there. I've put a little reassuring sentence there because that felt like something that came out in my journaling when I was doing that. So that's there, but I'll probably tweak and edit that. That probably won't stay, but that's what we can do. So it's really easy to preview. Have you guys, first of all, got any more questions about headers and footers and how we start to do the work? And remember, we're just starting. Today is the Creative Catalyst. We've got time to grow into this space and to consider it. So have you got more questions? Or I know there's a couple of generic ones, if we can get a chance to do those.
I've got a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry I can't put my camera on.
That's all right.
So I was just thinking about my footer, and I'm at the point where I'm considering going paid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready to do it yet, but I feel like the footer might be a good place to add something about that,
mm-hmm.
such as perhaps saying the kind of thing that I would imagine would be in a membership.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's putting me off is that for the first time ever, I mentioned something like that in my last post. And it's the only time I've ever had a number of people unsubscribe. I've never had that before. Like, only one person has unsubscribed.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I mentioned paid membership in my post, I noticed the numbers went down much more than usual. So I'm a bit like, I don't know what to do.
So it's a massive topic to talk about unsubscribes and people realigning to who you are in the world. And that sometimes is nothing to do with what you think you've said and everything to just do with where they are at. So sometimes So I was talking to a friend about this recently, and she'd said the same thing. She felt like every time she posts now, 10 people leave. And she's like, I don't know, like, do I change what I'm posting? And like, you just continue serving the people that are there, like talk to them, engage with them, find out who they are, find out what they want. With you thinking about paid, Claire, what you could do is send a little link in your footer to a Google form with some more questions. I'm thinking about starting a paid community. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think you want? Sometimes that can be really insightful. Sometimes it can be really confusing. I think we can't apologize for wanting to be paid for our work. Like, we deserve to be paid for our work. We're being paid for our work. We're all writing on Substack for free, as well as offering paid for posts. So it has to be a balance. And as people are figuring out how many Substacks they can subscribe to, if people's values align with them, you know, if they've got time, I get people just who feel overwhelmed and need to leave because they feel overwhelmed, and that's fine. You know, I do say to them, look, sign up for an annual membership and then you'll feel like you've got time. You can take some workshops, you can leave some workshops, do what you want, but people will just be overwhelmed and leave, and it's fine. So yeah, I feel like I could teach a whole workshop on everything I've felt about unsubscribes over the years, both on social media and here, but please know, just keep serving your people and keep talking to your people. And sometimes people circle back, you know, sometimes it is just a genuine, I can't do this right now, but I'll come back. You know, we're just keeping our online spaces curated, aren't we, in the best way that we know how. So it's not personal. Sometimes it is personal and people pop into your inbox and you realize why you don't want them as a subscriber, believe me. So you're fine. You're all good. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. And amazing how many people nodded about people circling back to their...
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah, we know we do it out. We've done it ourselves, haven't we? Like, sometimes it's like there's a disconnect or we've got too much on, and then we'll kind of resubscribe to something or whatever. So yeah. Great.
I actually saw someone sharing a post really recently, like yesterday. She actually invited people to unsubscribe.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, if it was a really lovely, beautifully well-written email, but she actually invited people to unsubscribe and said, like, if you feel like, you know, whatever she said, what if this isn't serving you right now, or you want to step back for any reason? And she actually shared with them how to unsubscribe. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good because then it's much more aligned. So I talk about turning up to write a post and knowing that everything that I want to pour out into this post and into the world is going to be received in the right way. And that is part of it, saying if this isn't feeling good or it's not the right time, then, you know, you're welcome to leave. Russell Noety, who I'm going to have on the podcast in November, actually goes through, and if anybody hasn't opened an email in a certain amount of time, he removes them from his list. And the reason he does that is because he's far more interested in open rates. So it skews the open rates if you've got people who are sort of hanging out on your list but not really opening your email. So he's got that take on it, which I think is fascinating as well. I mean, I couldn't be bothered with the admin, to be honest, but yeah, I just think it's dead interesting, isn't it?
Do you know what, though? Back in business, back in my old days, we used to do a database cleanse. It's so important to do that and cleanse your database to clear that energy and make way for the new. And it's surprising what a difference it makes to back then, you know, as clients and candidates that I was working with. Obviously now we're talking readers and subscribers, aren't we? But it actually is. I found it an important part of my work to cleanse the database now again. So that makes sense.
I think energetically, if I kind of shift and I feel braver in the new year, I'll look at doing it, you know, but I'm still I'm curious. Like, I'm curious to talk to Russell. I'm curious to understand that. My friend Sarah's done it. She said, I'm actively looking. If you don't open this email and the next one, I'll take you out. So she wanted to do it as well. So she opted in. She's got quite a small list, about 400 subscribers, but she wants to keep it small. She doesn't want it to blow up. So to her, it's like I was talking about in the last workshop, that kind of campfire on the beach, like, let's keep it cozy. Because sometimes when you turn up to Substack or your email to write one, it's terrifying. And we're like, oh, I don't know, there's all these people and I don't know what to say to them. You know, it just can feel big, can't it? And actually, when you know you're talking to your right people, it's lovely.
One thing that complicates it is that we can't assume that just because somebody hasn't clicked on an email, they haven't seen it, because the preview screen does not unless somebody's actually clicked on the email, it doesn't classify as an open. I often read stuff that just appears on my preview screen. So we can't make that assumption that they haven't seen it.
And I'm going to ask Russell that, you know, Caroline. Because I'm the same. I'm like, how do you know? How would you? You
can't make that assumption from my old direct mail days. But also, all of this is why I put the major sales message in the footer rather than the header.
Okay.
My header is all about, this is what you're going to get, just a reminder of what you subscribe to. And then if they read all the way to the bottom, then the chances are they've done that because they've found some value in it. And they might be more receptive to me saying to them, right, if you found this useful, you'll find this stuff really useful.
I think that's a great approach. Yeah. I think that's a really good approach. And again, you know, I was saying about how if someone has received that same header multiple times, they'll kind of skim that because they're already invested. So then it's like the next stage of what you want them to do or where you want them to go. And there's quite a lot of complicated science to how people read emails anyway. There's a lot of skim reading goes on. As much as we would like to think that people are reading every word that we've written, they don't. There is a lot of skim reading going on. You can find articles about it, and there are some key places. This is why I really advocate for visual breaks, both in the kind of page breaks that I do, the images that I put in. I want to give people a spacious experience. My Substacks are about that. Like, let's be spacious. We've got time. When something is a big wall of text, you're asking people for extra energy and extra effort. And I know for me, that feels a lot. It feels a big ask. I'm often tired from motherhood. My eyes are tired from being on screen. So being really conscious of all this stuff and what your Substack is to your people, what your mailing list is to your people, if it lands in email, is really important. So questions, if you need to go, feel free to pop off. I'm going to put the recording up, and I'll put some journaling prompts for these other boxes that we didn't get round to because I didn't want to overwhelm the people that are just starting out. But I will, if you're getting into that stuff, I'll put some journaling prompts. Are there any other generic Substacky things that you're stuck on that you want my support with, my help with? Anything at all? I'm here. I'm just going to check the chat while we're wrapping up. Is everyone feeling okay? Feel like it's going well? Growth going well this week? Figuring out the platform going well?
Can I just ask a question, Claire?
Feel free, yeah.
So I'm about 7 weeks in now, and I've had one post that just had stratospheric reception in terms of the number of reads. I mean, just, you know, over 10 times any other post, and I got a couple of subscriptions through it. But I don't know why. I don't actually know why. I can't see that it was shared particularly. How do we view if something was?
Did you see I was saying about
restacked?
how many views it got? So I'll go back in and share my screen on that one. It'll tell you.
I want to do more of that.
It'll tell you about the restacks at the bottom of the post. So if you go into any post, it's going to show you the restacks at the bottom. Can you see that, Caroline? I'm just trying to get an example because I think this one got a few restacks. So I can just, if you need to go, honestly, feel free. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen now. There we go. Right. So obviously one way you can tell is by going down here. This is your restack button here.
Okay,
so I can see this has had 10 restacks.
Right. So the post itself, not the stats.
For the restacks, yeah. I don't think that's in post stats. We'll pop over, but I don't think it is. Subscriptions, views, opened, links clicked. No. Be helpful if they had it there as well, so we could look at it all on one page. But
yeah, it would.
No, I don't think so.
According to this, I've just got 7 likes, no comments, and it doesn't show any restacks.
Does it show you how many total views? This one.
So the total views, hang on one second, is 991.
Is that high
and
for you?
For me, that's very high because I don't have that many subscribers yet. Normally I might get 156, 25, 14, 85, 22, 26. Then I've got one that had 280. So suddenly that's 991 with 63% opened. I just don't really understand what went on there.
I think if it's not lots of restacks, I think it'll have been in here, Caroline. So this is the explore page. And Substack will often put recommendations in here, and then sometimes you get chosen as a staff pick. So like, you know, the staff will go through, and this has happened to me before, and at least other people have told me about it, that I've been in here. Like,
so we don't get notified? It's
no,
not in our
you don't get
notifications?
notified. You can just start to tell, like, if there's a post that is getting maybe more comments or bringing more people over. So, you know, Substack are quite narcissistic. So if you write anything about Substack and they like it, you'll probably end up on this page, but they also are very balanced. So they love it when people write about the platform. So look, this one is about Substack, but they love other stuff as well. The staff go through and curate your topics that you chose in terms of the flavor of your publication. You get 2 categories to pick. So mine for Sparkle is in culture and technology, so it could be that you were profiled in here somewhere. And it could just be that they are rewarding you for showing up consistently. They do that. They send out little roundups and emails to people. They really try and push, like, Caroline's here, she did this, Caroline's done a note, she's got this. So that can all be going on and you can have no clue. But they do reward you being on the platform. You know, it
would be nice if they'd let you know.
Yeah, I think so. And this is where it's really different from a usual way of working with email, but we can work with email as well. But hard to know. We need people all like looking out for us, don't we, on this explore page? But have a look around here. Like, it is nice to do if you've got like a spare hour and you're looking for different things, especially within your category. Like, obviously don't overwhelm yourself. If it's feeling triggering reading other people's work, don't do it. But if it's interesting, there's 33 million readers on the platform apparently, and I don't know how many Substacks because it's going up all the time, but I'm trying to find out. So yeah.
Is there an email address that we can make suggestions and requests to? Because having all of the stats there, you know, that's a classic example. Restacks should be in your stats for the post.
Yeah, because you're trying to work it all out and piece it together. Yeah, for sure. So you can go to Substack open office hours. So if you subscribe to Substack and you subscribe to Substack writers, you'll get notified of open office hours, and then you can ask in there, and the Substack staff are all in there. So it takes place over like an hour or so, but then the threads go on, and people start chipping in and trying to help you out. And there's a few arguments and spats and weird stuff as well, but you can ask there. You can tag the Substack staff in notes as well. Sometimes they get back to you, not always. And then you can email the help desk as well and say, I'm finding this tricky, or, you know, I'd like help with this. And they always come back to you. So the customer service is really good. I've used it a couple of times. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to hop on and ask anything before we finish up? I'll just check the time. We're doing okay, aren't we? Yeah, we're 10 minutes over what I said, but I like to just make sure that you're all right. Well, the calls are up for next month. We're going into November. We've got some nice stuff that we're going to be going into next month, so feel free to have a look. I'm going to share the recording of this workshop with some extra journal notes. It'll be reshared back in the post, and I'll share it in chat just because I'm trying to keep everything quite streamlined. I'm just reading this in the chat, and then we'll pop off. A nice page break. Yes, it's in the welcome email, Claire. So in the welcome email that you'll have got automatically from me, and please let me know if you didn't get it, there's a link to a Canva template with like 100 page breaks to play with in there. They're all the right size, and you can play around with them and put different things in, type different things into Canva. So you can get them there.
Brilliant, thank you.
And did make one doesn't come out the right size. Yeah, no, it's tricky. And people have said that with the headers. Tamsin, yes, she did say that. And I heard that in the workshop. And the reason I didn't repeat it is because I was like, that sounds low. Like, if there's 33 million people, is it 17,000? I'm going to email her and check because we're pals. So I'll ask her. It does sound really low. It's like, what? Wait. But I mean, amazing for us, isn't it? We're all there and we're all making stuff happen. So yeah, great. So on Friday, I've got a Substack FAQ post coming out in partnership with Russell Doherty, who I've already mentioned. And it's going to be a permanent post where you can ask anything that you want to ask about growing joyfully and sustainably. So look out for that on Friday. But other than that, thanks again for being here, for being so gorgeous. I got Substack bestseller this week and just feel really weird about it still, but I just wanted to say thank you to you all for being so lush and for making my job just feel really good. I'm really enjoying this space and I love watching you all just like figure things out in your own creative way. It's lush. Okay, right, I'll end there and I'll see you next time, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.